Hey guys, welcome to another episode of WTF Gamerscast, the official podcast for WTF Gamers Only. E3 is just a few weeks away, and we're all really excited for the press conferences that are going to be happening. My name is Greysun, and today I'll be joined by Marissa.
Hello.
And Jerel.
Hi, guys.
And we're just going to be discussing last year's presentations and then have this conversation about this year's upcoming press conferences, like what we want to see and what we think is going to get announced. Okay, so who wants to go first in the discussion?
Jerel.
Okay. I will take the reins. So everybody knows I love Sony, and I'm always looking forward to the PlayStation presentations every year. To me, they are the best, bar none. I know, there's Microsoft, Ubisoft, Bethesda, Nintendo. PlayStation has always put on the best presentations. Last year was this grand opening with a full orchestra for God of War, the new God of War game. It was amazing, and they gave us a ton of titles. We do have some that are out now, including Horizon Zero Dawn, but a lot of people complain because a lot of them were not announced. Were announced, but dates for release were not announced. But we did get a ton of stuff. We got Prey, which came out last week or the week before that. We got Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. We got the Crash Bandicoot remake, which I'm super excited about. We got looks at the new Spider-Man game. We got Detroit Become Human. We got Days Gone. Yep. We got Death Stranding. We got some Resident Evil 7. Yeah, Days Gone, The Last Guardian, which also came out already. I think I got all the big ones. Now, the only problem, like I said, and Bound. I'm pretty sure they did
Yes,
Bound.
I love
Yeah, Bound came out.
Yeah. And Gravity Rush 2. Can't forget Gravity Rush 2, which I did. Sorry. And then a ton of VR bullshit, like Batman, and I think they did...
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, I personally think they spent far too long on VR. I don't think enough people have it for it to be getting a dedicated portion of E3. And, they also gave us, the whole Final Fantasy 15 thing, and then they did the VR for that bullshit, too. But all in all, it was a wonderful presentation. Sony does this thing where they focus on games, which I'm sure they've learned from the PlayStation 4 launch that is what players want to see. It's all about the games, and even though we got a bunch of previews for games that don't have release dates, we still have something to look forward to. So it's kind of it is a little bit of a bitter pill to swallow, because I have no idea when a lot of this stuff is going to be coming up. But at the same time, it's good to know that these are titles that are being worked on and that the future of PlayStation is looking amazing. Unlike, some other consoles out there who don't have games coming up and we don't know what they're going to announce. So did you guys want to do you want me to go into my predictions, or do you want to talk about the past presentation some more first?
Well, why don't we stay in the past for a little bit, since I have a feeling that your last comment was totally directed at Microsoft, which I'm going to be covering. E3's presentation last year for Microsoft, it was a good presentation. I was super excited while I was watching it. We got a lot of games announced. We got some announcements for Xbox Live. We got the Xbox Design Lab, which let you create your own custom controller, which is super dope.
Yeah, that was
Loved
really cool.
That announcement. And it just came out of nowhere. It was awesome.
It was.
And then, of course, we got some hints about Project Scorpio back then, as well as the Xbox One S. And the one thing, though, in retrospect, is that a lot of the games have either not come out or been canceled, or have not released as of yet, and they were supposed to.
Scalebound.
So, yeah, Scalebound being one of them. We Happy Few is still in early access, but it hasn't come out yet. Sea of Thieves are still waiting for.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
Yeah, State of Decay 2.
Oh, I can't wait for that
still
either.
Isn't out yet. So, kind of in the same line of Sony is where we got a lot of announcements, and the presentation itself was awesome. But it was just kind of I don't know, as the time has gone on, we've seen these Sony titles come out that they've set up for themselves in E3, and we're not seeing that with Microsoft right now. So I still think it was a strong presentation, and I think we still have a lot of stuff to look forward to. But just in retrospect, it's kind of like, oh, well, yeah, not a whole lot of exclusive. We got Gears of War 4, we got ReCore, and we happy few.
And ReCore sucked.
Oh, I haven't played it yet, so I can't say.
I played the demo and I was like,
it didn't get the
sucks.
best reviews, yeah.
Yeah.
People aren't really talking about it anymore either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it like came and went.
It was like it came and went, exactly.
Oh, what was that other title? It's a Microsoft exclusive with the Fable. Oh, Fable Legends. Fable Legends. That was another one that I played. I was looking forward to that got canceled as well.
Got canceled.
But
yeah, it happened quite a bit for Microsoft this last year, but I'm hoping that's changing this year. And I think that with what's been said online and with some of the predictions that are being made so far, it sounds like that is going to be a change this year. Not so much, of course, there will be talking about Scorpio, but I think that we're going to hear a lot more about games this year as opposed to consoles coming out.
I hope so. I do also want to give props to Microsoft because I think they did a wonderful job at highlighting some of the indie titles, such as the ones that you mentioned, like Cuphead, Sea of Thieves, and We Happy Few. Mm-hmm. They made a really big presentation out of them, and I think that shows that they learned from some of what they used to do in the past, and especially with their push towards indie. So that was really refreshing to see.
Yeah, and I absolutely loved the Sea of Thieves presentation they did last year. That was adorable, where they had all these people just kind of sit down, not know what they were in for, but all started playing the game together.
Mm-hmm. And they all had fun.
And just showing you kind of the player experience. Mm-hmm. And that made me like, okay, now I'm pretty interested in this title. I want to see if I have that experience.
So that's one of the ones we have to play together, really by the way.
Okay.
Okay.
For sure. I'm down. Just let me know when, and I'll be there.
Good. So you can't call me out for not playing with you anymore on another podcast, Marissa.
Yeah, that's true.
Is Sea of Thieves coming out this year?
Oh, I think so.
Sea of Thieves?
Yeah, I believe so. I need to look at that. I think it just says 2017 for right now.
Nobody likes to announce release dates anymore. That's just a thing now.
I know that, or they give like the very
like, oh, it's out.
It's holiday of this season. Of this year.
Summer. Yeah. Even though it's like, oh, it's summer already, so isn't it out?
And another good thing that they talked about that I liked, even though I don't feel like it's at its potential or essentially exactly what they advertised, but it looks like it's on the way. And I don't remember the name of it, but the cross-play for Microsoft titles that you buy, like their exclusives that you buy on the Xbox, and then you can play on your PC, and then the other way around.
Yeah, God, I can't think of the name for it either.
That was something that was really cool that they announced as well.
Yeah, no, that was an awesome feature too. Mm-hmm. They did make a lot of cool Xbox Live announcements. They dedicated a portion of it to looking for clubs, being able to use Cortana, which now isn't a thing anymore. The language region independence, background music. That you could play while you're playing games, and oh my god, I absolutely use the shit out of that feature. I love it so much.
Not the feature. The fact that it took... We're like 4 years into these consoles, and the fact that it took so long for both Sony and Microsoft to do this is disappointing, because Sony just got it recently as well, so... I don't think that's like a whole amazing E3 announcement. That's something that should have happened 2 years ago. Not at E3, as an update. But... to each their own.
Well, just saying, it happened. I'm happy now. So, good on you, Microsoft, for bringing background music, even though apparently it should have happened forever ago. Still, I'm happy.
But PlayStation gave us real live foreground music in a freaking amazing orchestra that brought us God of War. So...
yeah, but Microsoft started their panel with Laura Bailey, and that's the best way to start a panel. So
we love her. It's true.
I love Laura.
You know what? I give props to Microsoft and Sony for their presentation last year, but I'm totally interested to see how Greysun's going to defend Nintendo's non-presentation live whatever recorded thing. If you were done, Marissa, that is.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm ready to see what Greysun has to say too.
All right. Shut up. You will laugh. Hey, they had a presence, okay?
Yeah, with 2 games.
Well, 1. And that's all I needed. Well, Nintendo starting, I think they started in 2015 when they decided not to do the live presentation.
Yeah, I think so.
At E3, if I can remember. Like, so 2014 was their last
live presentation.
Their last year actually having a live presentation on stage, an audience watching and everything. And I still think this is the best choice for them to do still, because those presentations are always really awkward, and they're a Japanese company, even though Sony is Japanese too, but there's just something about their games and their quirkiness that does not work for like live presentations. So these live stream presentations, these pre-recorded things just really work well for them.
But except for the Switch one.
We're talking about E3, okay?
You're right. Sorry. You're right.
So last year, the one game they had, and their whole entire booth was The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Which just makes their whole E3 presence even more strange than usual, because they usually have some other games. 2015, they had Mario Maker, they had Yoshi, they had a few other different titles, but this one was just Legend of Zelda.
They
just knew that this game was going to be one of the best games ever created. They had just like the highest hopes for it. They didn't even have to do like a presentation or anything. They just had the game playable there. They had the Nintendo Treehouse playing Zelda pretty much for the whole day. And they also knew that the Switch was coming up. The presentation would be coming up in a few months, which the Switch is now one of the best-selling Nintendo consoles. It's doing really, really well.
They did have Pokemon, right? And Pokemon Go.
Yeah. They also had Pokemon Sun and Moon showing there. They also had Yokai Watch 2.
You were just like, only Zelda, because that's all that matters.
Well, I mean, the booth was pretty much just Zelda, because we were, both Greysun and I were at the Zelda booth.
And I wasn't there.
Wait, what?
You guys went, and I wasn't there.
He wasn't there.
I know. I'm sorry. I wish you were, because then I would have known sooner how in love with you I was. And I could have seen you in person, and it could have been amazing and magical and wonderful, but instead there was Zelda. And it wasn't nearly as magical or amazing as wonderful as meeting you in real life.
Oh my god.
But their booth design was pretty cool, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I saw pictures. It did look freaking awesome. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to talk about when it comes to E3 last year with them, because they literally just had Zelda. But it's not a bad thing, because Zelda turned out to be really, really good.
Yeah, sure. It was amazing, if you like Zelda.
It does seem weird, though, in retrospect. And I mean, I get it, keeping it, under lock and key, so that way they could have an even bigger surprise announcement. But just kind of, you would think at E3, it's kind of like, let's pull out the stops and announce that, hey, we have a console coming.
They literally didn't show anything new, which was...
they just showed...
very bold of them, I guess, brave of them to do that.
Yeah.
You have Sony announcing, new game after new game after new game, and Microsoft even doing the same thing a little bit. And you have Nintendo in the corner with like this one game that's already been announced, a year or two ago.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, not just that too, because you figured that would have been maybe a good time to announce the Switch with, now we have Xbox One S and we have the Scorpio coming out. I mean, again, maybe they felt like they would be like undershadowed. I don't know if that's the right word to say. Like they wouldn't have received as much
like they either
acknowledgement at that time. But I mean, it seems kind of weird in retrospect. But at the same time, what they did clearly worked, even though we all can agree that the Switch presentation itself was not good. That it's still selling really, really well. So it doesn't matter when they announced it. It's doing well.
It might have been if they announced it at E3. They probably were ready to show it off, like show off that first trailer that they had showed for it. But they probably didn't want it to be undershadowed by these other games coming out and just the other press conferences in general. And maybe not even, they probably didn't want it to overshadow Zelda or get undershadowed by Zelda. And it's weird because at that point, I don't think they even announced that Zelda was coming to both systems yet.
Yeah, it was just
the
Wii U at that
The Switch
point.
wasn't a thing. That it was still the NX, which was just like, we don't know when it's coming out. They were just rumors that it was coming out in 2017. But then a few months after E3, was it in December, November or something? They showed that trailer.
Yeah, it was in November.
And it was like, bam, it's out in 4 months, 5 months, however long it was. It was insane.
I think it was a good idea, but I also think it was a failure. Not a failure in the sense that the Switch didn't sell, but a failure for an E3 presentation based on everything that we got from Microsoft and Sony. Having one game at the biggest game conference of the year with no other announcements and like some sprinkles of Pokemon that we already knew was coming, I personally think for an E3 presentation that was a disappointment, especially because it's pre-recorded. I understand you can't announce anything for the Switch if you haven't announced the console. Like, of course. So I completely understand having to wait and show us all the stuff that's, coming from that. But, I mean, in the end, it became a scramble for people who didn't pre-order the Switch because, for different reasons of possibly missing the presentation or not knowing what it was. It could have been something, I didn't pre-order. And then I was like, oh my God, everybody's having so much fun with this. I gotta, wake up early on a Saturday and run to Target and try to find one. And I think that kind of hurt them because I feel like they probably could have sold more because I'm sure there are people that still don't even know what it is. I mean, they've done a really good job at expressing what it is, but if they would have given us more at E3, I think they would have had a better opportunity. Instead of this, the Switch is sold out everywhere. They might have them tomorrow at Toys R Us or next week at Best Buy, and now we've got to ship them on a plane because,
Isn't that so crazy?
Yeah, I mean, it's wonderful for them.
Yeah, it's great because, people are buying it.
But it still was an E3 disappointment to me. And now I feel, since we're moving on, I assume, I feel that E3's presentation from Nintendo this year is going to be a repeat of their announcement for the Switch. That presentation, which was, to me, a complete failure because they did such a horrible job at explaining ARMS to me. I thought it was shit. Watched the Direct the other day and was like, oh my God, I want this so badly. And I'm afraid that they might follow suit for E3 and turn people off to a lot of the upcoming titles that they've already introduced. So I don't know where it's going to go from here with them. I'm hoping for the best because I do have a Switch now and Zelda's fun.
But you want more games. Yeah.
And they have to do a good job at selling them if they're doing a pre-recorded conference again. And it can't just be one. So now they can't depend on this console seller anymore because we've got it. So what's next?
I can tell you what's next.
Segue.
Because instead of, last year, like I was saying, they had one game, and there was no new console that they had to talk about. They had a console, but they weren't going to talk about it, and they didn't. But right now they have, one of the best console that they've ever launched, and the high of Zelda is starting to go away a little bit, even though people are still talking about it. But Zelda was the game to buy a Switch for. Yeah. And it's only been 2 months, and the Switch has come out, and Zelda, and people are finishing Zelda, and these games are coming out for PlayStation, like Persona and stuff for Xbox, and people are starting to I feel like get away from the Switch a little bit. Unless you really like Mario Kart, then that'll be the game for you. But on the horizon, we have Super Mario Odyssey, which is still planning to come out in winter, and they've said it's going to be playable at E3. So, and that's not going to be the only game at E3, because they're not going to have a Mario E3 like last year, like they did with Zelda. But it's still a game to be excited about. And they have the Switch, and they have an amazing console, and now they have to announce more games for it that people are going to want to play. So they have ARMS. ARMS comes out the day after E3. So ARMS is pretty much already done with, I want to say. They're probably not going to talk about it at E3 besides the fact that it's out and available for the Switch and whatnot.
Yeah.
But besides Super Mario Odyssey, they have Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and Splatoon 2. but there's not really any other big games coming out in 2017 yet, which that's the only thing I'm like scared for, because you have these summer games, you have ARMS and Splatoon, but like after July you don't have any big games until December or November, whenever Super Mario comes out.
And we do have games, though, that are promised to come to the Switch that are already out on other consoles or coming soon to other consoles, like Yooka-Laylee.
Ports,
yeah, I think Sonic Mania might come to them a little bit later. I can't remember for sure. But they do still have...
too.
Yeah. And they do still have not only those titles to sprinkle throughout. Like, I could see Yooka-Laylee being playable on the Switch at E3 this year.
Oh, yeah, that would be awesome.
Just because the game's already done. It's just a matter of how far along is it done on the Switch.
And I am waiting for it on the Switch just because I want to play it on the Switch, because I feel like it's the perfect type of console for it.
Yeah, I think it'll do really well on the Switch. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Same thing with Sonic Mania. Same thing with Sonic Forces, depending on if it's good. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, so like at their E3 conference, or the Nintendo Direct, the live stream, whatever they're gonna do, I feel like they have to announce something new.
They have to,
because they can't just talk about Mario forever. And of course they're gonna show off more Mario. It's gonna be playable, and they're gonna talk about Splatoon a little bit more. But after that, there's like, okay, what's on the horizon? Because Nintendo's let me finish up. Nintendo's like the only company who doesn't announce games that are like 3, 4, 5 years away, like Sony and Microsoft do. Because almost all of Sony's games last year that they announced, most of them aren't even out, and they don't even have a release date. But once Nintendo announces something, it's either coming out that year or the next year. Besides like Zelda, which got delayed a few times. And most of the time, all the games never get really delayed, and they come out. So I just hope there's big titles that they can announce in the next few weeks that actually get to come out this year. And that'll hopefully make this holiday season or fall season a little bit better for the Switch.
Well, and I think you kind of hit the nail on the head already with Nintendo didn't have a console to announce any games for last year, but this year they have the Switch out, so I think we are going to see a lot more titles get announced and teased. At least I'm hoping so, because like you said, we've got Splatoon. ARMS comes out the day after E3, and then really kind of ports or indie titles, or hey, remember when we said we were going to bring this title to the Wii U? Now it's coming to the Switch. That's really the only thing that will fill the time between Splatoon 2 and Mario Odyssey. So I think this could be a big E3 for them, just depending on how many titles they can announce coming to the Switch that they kept secretive last year.
Yeah.
I want to say that I do not think that E3 is made for ports. I'm disappointed when there's a full focus on ported titles from other consoles or from past years for a new console. I think it's cool, but that's not what I'm watching E3 for. I don't watch E3 to see that I can play Skyrim on my Switch. I don't care. I'm sure I've played it before. And if I haven't, I'll probably maybe get it, but that's not an E3 size announcement for me. I don't think that's
they'll definitely talk about...
Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, they'll definitely talk about those games that are, that gotten announced but haven't really been talked about, like Skyrim. I feel like that game might not even come to the Switch. But if it does, and they talk about it at E3, they need to like not talk about those games for longer than like 30 seconds. They need to be like, okay, Skyrim's coming out. Bam, this day, this is coming out. Bam, they don't need to show a whole video. Skyrim's coming to the Switch. Here's what's different. Here's what you can do. When it's like all the DLC. I'm like, this game came out fucking 10 years ago.
Exactly.
All these things that are coming. Like, it better have all that stuff if it's coming. And you don't need to really talk about it, because like the people that are going to buy that game, it's a very select few. If it does come out, it's not going to be a system seller. It's not going to rank on the charts or something.
No, and Okay, I totally agree that it should not be like a year of ports or anything like that. I'm saying like a 30-minute montage of different clips from games that we already recognize because they've been out. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
and then we get into new titles.
A sizzle reel with just like all these games, just spit them out, let them know there's content on the system. But there is one game that I think they could announce at E3 and it could come out this fall that I think you guys would agree that it would really sell systems and it would just be really cool to have if they actually announced the Pokemon Stars.
I thought you were talking about something else.
If they announced the rumored Pokemon Stars.
Yeah.
That too. That's a possibility too. But a Pokemon Stars, like Pokemon Sun and Moon, third version of the game that's exclusive to Nintendo Switch, with some added content and updated visuals and stuff like that.
Well, I'd hope it would have added content because...
Oh, yeah, of course.
No, I don't want to play that game again just on the Switch.
They wouldn't put the same game.
I hate that. And I know people are going to disagree with me, but I think making a game exclusive to the Switch that has progressively been on handheld... I understand that the Switch is a handheld. I think it's a stupid idea. And that might just be because
that would mark the first time that...
What? It's not the first time a Pokemon game is on console.
No, but like a mainline Pokemon game.
Oh, wow. I'm so excited. I'm not. I want to play it on my... Sorry. I want to play it on my 3DS like I've been doing. I just bought a really beautiful, shiny Galaxy 3DS that sits in my back pocket when I go out, and I want to play Pokemon on that. Okay.
Don't worry. They're gonna announce more 3DS stuff too, I'm sure, since they just announced a new 3DS, a new 2DS. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So why make an exclusive to console version of the game that's on the 3DS?
Okay, not exclusive.
Because why not?
Okay.
Take that back. Forget it for exclusive.
Okay.
Just Pokemon on the Switch.
And I think though, if the rumor of Pokemon Stars, if it's something more like Coliseum was or Stadium was, where sure, maybe it has a tie-in with Sun and Moon, but is a completely different game, not the same adventure, maybe not even necessarily the same characters. Like, I could see that happening where it's totally different mechanics that you can't necessarily do on the 3DS or the 2DS.
That's fine
I could see something like that. But yeah, if they bring like hey, this is Sun and Moon only combined and on the Switch with a couple of extra things you can do, like, no, I'm out.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Well, yeah, see, that's what I was saying. Like, but that's not what Greysun was talking about. Because I was going to say, something like Pokemon Coliseum, which is exactly what you said. Fine. Like a XYZ type thing? Nah, fuck that.
Nah.
Not here for that. Just my personal opinion. I'm not here for it.
Yeah, I mean, because they have the assets from Pokemon Sun and Moon, so like having a year to make like a third version probably would be, wouldn't be too hard for them. So I don't think they would announce a new game for the Switch, like a Coliseum, like just yet, if they were doing that. But I could totally see a third version of Pokemon Sun and Moon being on the Switch, or both 3DS and Switch.
Okay.
But yeah,
what they need to do,
it would sell Switches.
What they need to do is finish giving out the Mega Stones, first of all, before you try to make another game. How about you finish that? And then give me some form of Smash, like we were saying. Because I went to a convention the other day, played Smash Bros., remembered how much fun it was. I'm still amazed at the amount of characters they got into it that were outside of Nintendo, like Ryu and Cloud and Bayonetta. Well, not Bayonetta, because she's because now she's in Nintendo.
Yeah, she's kind of.
Like, adding those types of characters to Smash was such a grand idea. Not being able to play that online anymore because everyone's on their Switch sucks. And then it's like the perfect Switch title because you've got two controllers built right in for when your friends come over. Mm-hmm. It's not as hard as connecting a fucking Wii
remote, nunchuck, and whatever.
Yes, like it's already there. It's already made for this. You're already giving us Mario Kart 8, which I still say should have been Double Dash 2, but what the fuck ever. So
that game would sell like hotcakes. Like this, like what we've seen with Mario Kart 8 the past few weeks, how like it's selling like crazy, which I did not expect. But that's because it just shows how badly the Wii U sold. Like this Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is like the best selling Mario Kart game. Like the first week of sales, so apparently like the first week or 2 weeks has beaten the total sales of Mario Kart for the Wii U or something. Like something crazy like that, because nobody had the Wii U. So now they're putting on the Switch, and a lot of people have the Switch. They're gonna buy whatever game like comes out for it.
Imagine Smash Bros.
Yeah, so imagine Smash Brothers like that. Those sales could just be like through the roof because like people didn't buy the Wii U version. Yeah, because nobody had a Wii U.
And then I did, but I didn't buy all of the.
I had one too.
the DLC, because it was weirdly priced. Like, you had to buy all 4 of these, or like 3 of these, and then you got 1 of these, or you can't buy just this character.
I didn't buy any of the DLC. I have no idea how they play. Like, I was just, I wasn't really playing anything on my Wii, so paying $5 for each of these characters, I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to spend $20 on a few characters that I'll play for a few minutes and stop.
Yeah. So
but if it came included on the Switch, then I would.
If they did a DLC collection with the characters and the stages and brought it to the Switch, I think that would be a good idea. Because
that's what I want. I want that Smash Brothers game, like, portably. Because I have, I bought the 3DS version as well, but I always hated playing it because it looked like crap.
That was the other thing I was going to say. It's really good if they were to do that, because, Smash does have its own competitions. And imagine being able to take your own Switch and practice for the competition while you're there and battle others while you're waiting or getting your stuff together.
Exactly.
Or, dropping over to a friend's house with your Switch in tow to battle them. It's what it's made for. And they're not making games. To me, they're not making games that show off what it's made for, aside from 1-2 Switch.
Mario Kart was a good example.
Kart.
Mario Kart 8 was a cool example.
Well, once again, I still feel that Mario Kart 8 should have been something more along the lines of Double Dash, which I think would be a better version of showing off what this is, where one player is, driving, the other one has the other Joy-Con controlling the now 2 power-ups that you get, and then switching. Because it's the Switch, get it? So you switch seats. Like, the whole thing could have been amazing. I'm not complaining, because you guys are right. I'm just saying I was expecting more and hoping for more. So,
what I want, I just want them to announce another Metroid, which is what I want for the past 5 years. It's never going to happen.
Oh my god, that's so sad.
And there's a chance, because Retro Studios developed Metroid Prime, right? And their last game was Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, which came out in 2014. So they've had 3 years and they haven't released or announced anything. So if there's Metroid for Switch, that'd be the best thing ever. For me, that's my dream. I just want a Metroid Prime game. Or not just a Metroid game in general, whether it be 2D or 3D, I don't care. I just want it. Yeah, and they have to announce Virtual Console. That's something that's been missing since it launched, and that's something that needs to come on the system.
And they'll probably give us more details on their internet service as well.
Yeah, the weird app that they're gonna put on, which is still, it's weird. It's a weird thing, but yeah. How voice chat is not going to be on the system, but you'll be able to use the app to chat with people. And
yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll find out more.
Very sketchy.
Well, and especially considering little kids who may not have cell phones yet, who have other friends that are playing it at school or whatever. It's okay, so let me borrow mom and dad's. Oh, that's true. It's for us.
It's made for millennials, according to all the commercials. So we should all have.
True.
Phones.
We all have cell phones. Never mind. I'll shut the fuck up then.
Oh my gosh, no.
All right, Jerel.
Yes.
What do you want Sony to bring to E3?
That's right.
So, one of the things that I think Sony does so well at every E3 conference is focus on games, and I think that's what players want, and I think Sony knows that that's what players want. So if they continue to do what they did last year, I will be happy, even if it's games that I don't even want to see. They know how to present a title. They're dramatic as fuck.
They are. I love it.
I'm still going to go back to how dramatic God of War's presentation was. I mean, even Crash Bandicoots was this old game is coming back. And then, Death Stranding has been something everyone's been trying to get a hold of. So that's going to be dramatic as well. We might get more on that. Of course, Detroit, which I know Marissa is loving.
Yes.
That's going to be another one that's super dramatic. So I'm just excited for all the titles we're going to see. I don't know if they're going to... What I don't want, rather, because that's easier, is for them to just show more gameplay of things that they showed off last year that are progressing without a release date. And even with a release date, I'm still once again, I think that E3 is for new things, so don't bog me down with the old bullshit you showed me last year, because I'm not going to be as excited for seeing more God of War stuff that I've already seen, but a little
Especially if it's not
further.
coming out this year.
Exactly. So it's like, here's a tease. And by the third year, it's like, here's another Final Fantasy. We'll show you more next year, but, So I don't want that. I'm afraid that they might be headed towards that. But the beginning of this year for them has been wonderful. So I could, and I hope I'm wrong, I could be completely wrong based on the releases for the PS4. So I'm hoping they got a lot of stuff up their sleeve. We've got some major titles. There's The Last of Us 2, which I know everyone's boggling for except for me. Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, which they could show off. Spider-Man, which they showed off a little bit, which looked really fucking cool, and I did love some of the Spider-Man games. Knack 2, Gran Turismo Sport, God of War, Detroit, Death Stranding, Days Gone. They've got a lot of stuff they can talk about. Now, once again, those are all things that we've heard of before. Same thing with Kingdom Hearts 3.
Except for The Last of Us.
Yeah, we didn't hear about that at E3, but that's something that they can bring up at this E3. Possibly, I don't know if they're going to announce sequels for some of the titles that we got, with Persona
Until Dawn,
and
maybe.
Nier, and that would be
I would
wonderful.
love that. Oh my god,
that'll be something that would surprise people. Some type of Until Dawn 2 teaser.
It would be so good.
Especially after that weird on-rails shooter VR game where it was like, really, why didn't you just call this something else? Why did you have to lump it in with Until Dawn? I don't like it.
Yeah. But yeah, with titles like Nier and Persona and Horizon that did so well this year, I can totally see them announcing some really strong RPG titles along with some more info on God of War as an example. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Those big title games that Sony has, because so far this year rather, Sony has become known for them. I'm looking forward to the focus on games because we've already got the 4K console, so we don't need to do this whole Scorpio presentation or Switch presentation. Yeah. We've already got that. So knowing that we already have that, give me some more stuff about what I'm going to get out of the PS4 Pro and one of those quick montages like you guys said, and then focus on new titles that are going to bring people into a PlayStation if they don't already have one. Or hype up the people who have already played your big titles that, Persona, Horizon, Nier, all those, The Last of Us 2 coming out. Hype me up for that shit. Give me some new shit. Throw in your drama, because you're dramatic as fuck, and I am happy as shit. That's all I want.
They just have to lock down some dates, and I'll be happy for this holiday season. Because right now, they have no confirmed games coming out. For the rest of the year, I feel like. Well, big games at least. Besides Uncharted, there's none of these big games are confirmed for this year. True. I think Knack 2 is probably the only game that it doesn't have a date, but I think it's supposed to come out at the end of this year. But that's probably the least.
Uncharted: The Lost Legacy.
That's not a huge game. Knack 2.
Uncharted: The Lost Legacy is this year.
Yeah, it's August. That's you're right. As far as the bigger, Days Gone, God of War, Spider-Man, there's no date yet. I don't think they're even 2017. But if they can lock down those dates and be like, okay, November, bam, Spider-Man's coming out, God of War's coming out, March next year. That would be awesome to see.
Yeah.
Because they're really good at showing us pretty things whenever letting us,
they are.
Actually get close to it. It's here, we're going to show you this, but you can't have it.
I don't want to see any more Kingdom Hearts 3 unless it's got a release date. I do want to see some Final Fantasy 7 though. I am still wondering what's going on with the episodic thing and the battle system I still want to know more about that. So
I feel like Kingdom Hearts is closer along than any of those episodes. I mean, Final Fantasy 7 games, whatever they're going to be. But who knows? I have no idea.
Oh, and I really want some more, which I know they're not going to do, but with the Switch out, I want them to focus a little bit on the Vita and show people that, you ass.
No, I have one.
And show people that, your Vita can kind of do what your Switch does, too. Not as well, I'll admit that. But once again, Greysun's playing his his Switch on the couch with Zelda. Well, bitch, I could play Persona 5 on my couch, too. So you're not that special.
Whatever.
So I don't know if it's like integration with the PS4 Pro, because they've already done some updates to it. Now you've got boost mode for some of the games. I love where they're going with that, but like I said, I don't need too much focus on hardware. But I do want to see that they're still thinking about progressing this console that I just paid more money for. Mm-hmm. Especially with like the Scorpio coming out on the Switch new, I do want them to show that they're focusing on this stuff. But give me games, they've done a really great job at showing off The Last Guardian and stuff that did come out. They did a good job at showing that off. Horizon, stuff like that. Their VR bullshit, they showed that shit off. Resident Evil, which was supposedly really good. I was too scared to play it, but. They did great at that, so I'm just looking forward to more of that.
Yeah, and I could see them having a couple of like hidden big announcements, especially rumors around Death Stranding. Like, I could see them having a trailer that reveals, if it happened, Emma Stone's character being in it, because that's a lot of the rumor going around. I could see Detroit, if we're having more characters, doing that. And with Persona 5, one of the things I wanted to mention was I could totally see them doing like one of those dancing all night or whatever spin-offs of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And available for the Vita too? Yes.
Yeah. I could see them definitely not only just kind of giving us stuff that we've already seen last year and expanding on it, but even, announcing either spin-offs of it or, finally here's the date plus another segment of it that you didn't see last year. And I kind of wouldn't be surprised with how well Horizon Zero Dawn was received if we get like even just like a tiny announcement, not a trailer or anything, but just that they are considering a sequel. I think that would be really cool too. That could possibly happen. So
yeah, I was thinking about that too, and of course the continued focus on indies. And even if we aren't interested in them, like. Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time was great, and it was free, and I'm pretty sure it was mentioned. So, their continued focus on indies is always good as well, especially because we might down the road get them for free. So,
yeah.
I'm just ready. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Very excited
Marissa,
to watch.
Yes.
Microsoft. Looking forward to
Yes, Microsoft. So, I think... And we've been talking to a couple of people in our blog that agree too, that I think Cuphead is going to become downloadable at E3. Like during the press conference, after the press conference that night, I'm pretty sure something like that's going to happen. Especially, kind of mentioning all of these games that did get announced, but either got canceled or got delayed. I could see them doing something kind of big to counteract that. But, I think we're definitely going to talk more about the Scorpio. We're going to see games played on it. There's supposed to be, rumor has it, Forza Motorsport 7. And that would be an amazing game to kind of show off the capabilities of the Scorpio when it comes to graphics, when it comes to how beautiful things are going to look on it. There's a couple of rumors that have kind of come out that's like, I don't know how this will work. I mean, not to say it's not going to work well or anything like that, but we have a Halo game coming out that's not Halo 6, which actually I might be totally excited for, because Halo Reach was my favorite title ever, and it was not, kind of in the line of succession of Halo, Halo 2, Halo 3, so on. So if it's a title that's kind of like that, that's an offshoot, has a different story, has different characters, it's still an FPS game. So I'm excited to hear about this new Halo title that is not Halo 6, because I'm done with Master Chief, quite frankly.
Yeah, because I played ODST. Is that what it's called? ODST?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I played a little bit of Reach, and I really liked ODST a lot. So I mean, the Halo game doesn't have to be Halo 6 for it to be any good. So I'm sure they'll come up with a cool side story, some new characters or something in the Halo universe that people really like or dig.
Yeah, because I would love to see another kind of offshoot of the Halo games, because I loved Reach, I loved ODST, and I just really kind of had a falling out with Master Chief and his story. Like, I don't have interest right now. So I'm actually kind of excited that we're not getting a Halo 6 and that it will be a different title this year. Another rumor is if Xbox is going to have VR and if they're going to be pushing it, because PlayStation was all about VR last year. And even though it seems kind of, I wouldn't say strange, but just, you had your competitor, your almost immediate competitor, Sony, completely talk about VR last year. And so if you're going to completely talk about VR this year, it might be kind of like Sony already did it. But depending on how they do it and how well it works, and especially the price point, because I know when I was looking at PlayStation VR, I was like, I'm not going to spend this money. Yeah.
Until something amazing comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, until something makes me like, holy shit, I need the PlayStation VR. I'm not really sold on it at all. So to have Xbox talking about it, I think would be kind of interesting to see where it goes, what games they might have on it. If they're titles that are also going to be available through their Play on a PC or Play on your Xbox. Mm-hmm. I do have another reservation, though, about the Scorpio that makes me really scared, and I keep seeing people on the internet talk about it, is that they're going to announce titles only for the Scorpio. And I think if that happens, it could backfire depending on the price point, again, for that console, because it's an impressive piece of machinery. I could see it being more expensive, but if it's somewhere, I've seen prices between $600 and $800 for this super mega console. Yeah, just again, rumors and stuff like that. I've seen a couple of people being like, it has to be around $400 or people aren't going to pick it up.
Yeah, that reminds me of the PS3 launch when it was like $700 or $600 or something.
Yeah. I mentioned that too because I was
because they were high. They were like really high off the PS2 sales. They're like, oh my god, we're the best. We can sell this console at $600.
And then they're like,
and they're like, oops, okay, it's $300. It's typo.
Half the price.
Like, oh shit, I didn't realize put a 6 instead of a 3. Let me go back and fix that.
And then somebody said at the conference that you should have 2 jobs if you want to buy one or something like that.
Yeah. Start working your way towards it. So depending on the price point, I think if they start showing off games that are exclusive to the Scorpio, it might be okay. But I know for me, I just spent money getting the Xbox One S. So if there's a bunch of titles that are announced just for the Scorpio, I would be kind of pissed off because here I just, I had an Xbox One, upgraded to the One S, and now you're telling me, hey, upgrade to the Scorpio. If you don't, you're not getting these games. I think it would almost kind of, at this point, being like, so only if you get the Xbox One S will you get these new titles. Fuck your old Xbox One. Yeah. So I think further down the line, once the Scorpio has been out for a while, once people have been able to pick it up and stuff like that, I'm thinking like E3 2018, that might be a better
time to focus on it.
Yeah. But this year, I think, needs to be more about, okay, we've been talking about the Scorpio. You have all these numbers in front of you of what it's supposed to be doing. Let's showcase it really strongly with our new games that will also be for the Xbox One. And hopefully some exclusives, because that's where Sony is really kicking Microsoft's ass right now, is it has a shit ton of exclusives. And, we've already got Halo confirmed pretty much. We just don't know what it's going to be about. Same thing with Forza. We already know a couple of titles. We're going to get an Assassin's Creed. I'm imagining Far Cry is coming to Microsoft. It has in the past. It's not going to be like, and suddenly only for Sony. But I really do think that if they're going to kind of change the tide of how things have been talked about with Microsoft in this recent year, they're going to have to pull out some exclusives and, really kind of impress people with them. All of their announcements about Xbox Live have been awesome, and they've always found a way to surprise us. Like I was saying with the Xbox Design Lab, I had no idea it was something I was interested in until they told me. It was like, shit, I would love to have a controller that says Vomit Monster on it.
that you can design with beautiful colors.
Yeah, like I'm so about that life. Because I don't go through controllers fast. I pretty much keep the one that I get with my console. To have one that is attached to me, like, fuck yeah, I want it.
Exactly.
So I think they really need to focus on games after, talking about the Scorpio for a bit, and kind of maybe showing off a bit better for people who don't understand the numbers and stuff like that. Because that's one thing that even I struggle with sometimes. I'm like, I don't know what 6 teraflops does. Show me what that looks like.
Same.
You know? So I think talk about Scorpio for a bit and then go into these games. You know, like you said. Oh, sorry.
No, please.
Like you said in the beginning that I totally forgot about was they had amazing indie titles that were announced and came out. You know, so I think showing off how Xbox exclusives do on it, showing how these indie titles play on it, you know, and then just kind of the other games that aren't exclusive to either Sony or Microsoft, kind of like how we had Battlefield 1 last year. We had this huge presentation for it during EA's presentation, and then we just kind of got it talked about in all these other ones. You know, just show us what it looks like compared to the Pro or compared to our old Xboxes, so that way it kind of builds the hype for you should buy the system.
Yep. One of the things I am looking forward to, I think it's really cool when companies are like, hey, you can have this right now. So I just hope they do things like that. Like, oh, look, Cuphead, remember that? Take it immediately. Those of you watching at home, download it right now. Download it from your fucking app. Like, go. I want that. I think that's amazing.
Download it right now.
Yes. I love when companies do that. Bethesda did a great job. Like, oh, hey, here's our Fallout app right now. Download it now.
Oh, yeah.
That's really cool.
If they did that with Cuphead... Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying, if they did that with Cuphead, if they did that with some more indie titles, or like, hey, we haven't, you know, we are working on this console, but we also haven't forgotten that this is a gaming console. So here are your games, and we know we've made you wait for a little bit, so fuck waiting. Here they are right now.
Yeah, and even like doing something like the Lions of South Park did when they announced the Fractured Butthole, they also made Stick of Truth available. If you pre-ordered it, you got Stick of Truth for free, and you could play it on your Xbox One since it was originally a 360 title. So, I mean, it wasn't exclusive to Microsoft. That was just the way I did it because I got it on Xbox. But, you know, even doing kind of things like that to just get people not only amped for new games coming out, but, by the way, go play this game right now. Or, you know, if you really liked, if you're really excited to hear about Red Dead, the new Red Dead game, you know, I wouldn't think they would necessarily do an HD remaster, but it might be kind of cool to be like, hey, by the way, we remastered Red Dead Redemption, go play it on your systems. You know, I think that there's, of course, a lot of possibilities and a lot of surprises that all of these predictions can't quite cover, but I would love to have something like that happen too, where there's a couple of titles throughout all of the presentations that are like, you know what? It's available now. Go get it.
Yes, that would be great. I also just want Microsoft to focus on gamers and games, or at least do something that's like, hey, I want them to remind everyone that they haven't forgotten about the Xbox One or the Xbox One S. That's what I want. Because they're moving forward really fast with the Scorpio and what it's supposed to be and what it's supposed to do, but I also want their presentation to remind us that, hey, you faithful people who got the original Xbox with the Kinect, there we go.
Yeah, I was supposed to register so I could get the thing that plugs into my Xbox One S, and I still haven't done.
Oh, that was another thing. So I had to go, and I actually went out and bought one to connect my Kinect to the Xbox One S. Whatever. But, you know, I still have one of those. The updates to Cortana are cool, but I feel like they've moved on from that. And I don't want them to completely move on from, you know, the original Xbox for those who haven't upgraded, or the Xbox One S because the Scorpio is coming out. Because I know people that are right now like, all right, I'm going to go buy the Scorpio, which you're totally entitled to. That's pretty cool. You're going to have a brand new console with, like, all this power in it. But it's kind of like what you said. Don't mention exclusives, and also don't hammer me about this new console either. Show me what I'm going to play on it. And I think that's how they will, if they go back to being what they did last year with all the titles. Like, look at all this stuff you can play. If they do that again, I think they'll be good.
Yeah. So, any of the other conferences, quickly?
Bethesda, I think they're probably going to do, like, I think I heard about, like, Fallout VR and Doom VR, which, whatever. I don't care. But they do have really cool consoles. I mean, not consoles, presentations. Yeah. Their presentations have been a lot of fun. So I think just keep up the energy. I don't know about a Fallout 5. Like, I highly doubt it, honestly.
Yet. Yeah, I think it's pretty early.
Because they're still doing, like, DLC for it, and they're just getting DLC onto consoles. So I don't know. They did have 2 games already announced for it. They released a map of like their E3,
the little funhouse thing, Carnival.
Yes, and they had on it. People were able to figure out, I think, 2 of the titles coming from them. So I know they have a plan. I'll watch just to see what's going on. So I don't know.
I think they were teasing. I know what you're talking about though.
And then
there were different areas in the theme park. There was like Prey, Dishonored, Elder Scrolls, and Fallout and stuff. So they might be announcing a new game, but yeah.
As far as EA, I want them
Star Wars.
Well,
Battlefront 2. They're going to talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
Forever.
I want them to focus more on their games because I think their last few E3 presentations have been games that have come and gone with people just like whatever.
I hate when they bring out sports players. The worst.
During the presentation. Here's the actual person.
You just hear my eyes are just rolling as hard as they can. I'm like, oh. Here's blah, 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 soccer player to announce 2K instead of 18. Blah, blah, blah.
Well, and I have a quick EA note, too, because it was something that I was really, really, really amped for when they announced it. And since then, there has been no word on it. They announced that they were going to do a lot of focusing on indie gaming, and they showed off a trailer for a game called Fee. Fee hasn't come out yet. It has no release date yet. And last time I looked on their website, which is probably like maybe 2 months ago, there still wasn't any new information. So I would like to see that these indie games are actually being taken seriously, because I feel like we got this announcement that was like, oh, hey, we're going to be supporting all of these independent games. And then I haven't really heard much of it. And maybe they have, and they just haven't been slapping EA on everything. I don't know. But I know in that one case of what I was following, that game has just like kind of come to a standstill, which I don't think it's great when it's your poster child for we're helping indie games come consoles.
Yeah, that's what I mean about focusing on some of the smaller games and making sure they're not, like, forgettable titles. Like, oh, hey, we mentioned it. Oh, it just... Either it sucks so much that, like, nobody plays it, or it's forgettable because, like, we mention it one time and that's it, or they do exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, because Fee to me is not forgettable. It looks like an adorable game. I want to play it. Like,
you know what?
Yay.
I thought Unravel wasn't forgettable, and then we all forgot about it.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about that.
I haven't played it yet.
I played a little bit of it. I didn't really like what I was playing.
Oh,
the reveal was so cute.
It was adorable. I really wanted it then, and then
me and Jerel were like literally crying.
Yeah, we were there during that press conference because I actually went one time. I was there with Greysun, and it was amazing. And then they brought on the soccer player, and I was like, ugh, whatever.
We're like, okay, time to go.
Yes. But one quick thing, something that Bethesda might do, is bring out a Switch. A Nintendo Switch, and show us Skyrim on the Switch, because they did say it was coming. So I don't know if Nintendo's gonna do it, or I think it'd be cool if Bethesda did do that, or some other companies, like if there's some Ubisoft games coming to the Switch, they pulled their Switch out during the presentation. I can see them doing that, because I think that would be a really good, because they know how well the Switch is selling, of course. So I think it'd be cool to see during their press conferences as well.
Well, I think that would be cool to see officials from Bethesda actually pulling out their Switch and then kind of, showcasing this is how well it runs. We're doing this live in front of you right now. So this isn't just like, how is Skyrim going to run on a Switch? It's so much to load. Yeah. So I think that would be really dope to see something like that.
Remember, what they showed us was not actual Skyrim.
Not actual
running
gameplay.
On the, they were just like, oh, look, here's this, but this isn't real. Just kidding. So I can totally see them pulling out a Switch and showing us what it actually is. And waiting for E3 to do it. Because, I mean, what a better, bigger way to do it than at E3, pulling your Switch out during the Bethesda conference. So that would be cool.
And as for Ubisoft, they just announced that Assassin's Creed and Far Cry will be coming out before the end of March, basically. So they can always talk about that. Assassin's Creed might come out this holiday season. We never know. Or Far Cry 5. I think Assassin's Creed is probably going to come out this fall or holiday, and then Far Cry I can probably see coming out like spring next year.
And this is the Assassin's Creed that they actually took time to work on, right?
Yes. So this is the rumored Egypt. This is the rumored Egypt one, but it might not be Egypt.
It's just rumors right now.
It's supposedly the start. It's supposedly the start of a new era. That's what they posted on their Twitter.
That's cool.
The new teaser image.
I hope
so.
It's
it could be something completely different. Hopefully, I've been the last Assassin's Creeds I haven't been really interested in. I didn't play Unity. I didn't play Syndicate. And this is the first year they've actually taken time and they didn't release one for a year. So this could be actually good, and something that I might be interested in playing.
If it is Egypt... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go.
I was just going to say, if it is Egypt, they better have some ladies. One.
Yeah, female assassins are not hard to code.
I know they had some in Syndicate, right? Or, I don't know if
yes, you played as a brother and sister.
Yeah. So you better have women, and you better not have pale people in Egypt, because that's not how geography works in history. Just throwing it out there. Now, continue, Marissa. Sorry.
Yeah, especially after we talked all that mad shit about how we weren't going to play Assassin's Creed anymore. Hopefully they prove us wrong next time around, and that's what this announcement is going to be about. Because I would love to get either a story trailer of some kind where, we're not seeing gameplay, but we're seeing cinematic, or just even them talking a little bit about their process, how they changed it up, how it's going to be different, especially after making a tweet that said, this is going to be different. Show us how it's going to be different. So,
Don't tell us. You got to show us.
Yeah, I think the Ubisoft conference is going to be a good one, because I have liked Assassin's Creed in the past. Like you said, I haven't played any of the last titles. And then I really liked Far Cry 4 and Far Cry Primal seemed really cool. So,
Yeah, I'm sure Ubisoft will, they'll show off Assassin's Creed, Far Cry. They'll probably have another Just Dance, because why not?
Yeah, why not?
They always have one every year. I'm sure they sell really well. And there's also that rumored the Rabbids crossover with Mario, which could be really cool to see. Which I still don't know if that's
and then
a real thing,
another instance where they could pull out a Switch and be like, hey, look at what we can do.
Yeah, that's a game I feel like they can actually have gameplay footage, because that's been rumored for months.
Yeah.
So something to be like, okay, this is real. It's coming out for the Switch very soon. Look at this game. I don't know how Rabbids and Mario will cross over together, but
animation style wise, I think fine. But I haven't played any of those games, so
Mario RPG games they used to be pretty good, but now they've gotten really talky and kind of repetitive. If Ubisoft develops this game, that'll be really cool, because Nintendo never really lets other people use their characters. So if Ubisoft is developing a Mario game with the Rabbids and like Rayman and stuff, that could be something really cool to play.
Yeah, that would be dope. I would like to see that.
I agree with everything you guys said. Anyway, yeah, so I think we did a really good job discussing what happened in the past and what we're looking forward to in the future. E3 is less than 30 days away, so we'll see if any of our predictions come true. I'm hoping that all of them do, and I'm hoping for the best from Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, and Bethesda, EA, and Ubisoft. I'm super excited. I don't know what I'm looking forward to yet, so I hope that as E3 comes, they will leave me with the impression I had from last year's presentation, which has so far given me a brand new Nintendo console, another updated console for PS4 and Xbox One, some amazing titles, Legend of Zelda, Horizon Zero Dawn, and the promise of an amazingly powerful console that we've never seen before from Microsoft. So I'm totally looking forward to it. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next time. Bye, everyone.